10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Power Hour live Tuesday night. Man, glad to be back. Dujanay Bland over there on the other side. Dujanay, you and Darren Williams Jr. had a great episode last week with Mike Dunn. Folks, if y'all did not catch that one, you definitely got to hit the rewind button and see that one from last week.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was a lot of fun. Hadn't seen Mike in a long time, and just to chat about his career and the things he had done, and to hear the interesting story about the NHRA, that was fun.
It was a fun one to watch. I was compiling and trying to get out NASCAR coverage. I was at Rockingham Speedway for their NASCAR test on Tuesday last week, and that was a great event. Rockingham Speedway has NASCAR racing back at the Rock on April 18th and 19th of this year. So get your tickets at www.racetherock.com. But this weekend, we've got Nitro in the air, pro stocks jamming the gears, and drag racing is happening once again at Bradenton Motorsports Park down there in Florida for the SCAG Pro Superstar Shootout, and it is going to be yet again another spectacular show. Dujanay, we had Tony Stewart slated, but we got word that he was not able to make it. But I think we got a superstar in his own right on the show in just a few moments, and that's Daniel Wilkerson.
I agree, man. A superstar with a lot of personality, and it comes naturally. It's what we all love, and yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to Dan.
I am as well excited to talk to him. I know we got him in the green room, so we're not going to waste any time because I know he's had to be busy and he's looking forward to more testing and trying to go out there and win a race with the SCAG Wilkerson Racing Nitro Funny Car at the SCAG Pro Superstar Shootout. Again, you can catch all this on flowracing.com this weekend. This is being brought to you by Weldon High Performance. The Power Hour is pumped up by Weldon High Performance Pumps. So they make pumps for your racing application, and they make pumps even in aviation. So to fly high or fly down, you need Weldon High Performance Pumps. Daniel Wilkerson. Man, what's up?
How are you, my friends?
Doing great.
Good.
Doing great. I cannot wait to see you all in action. And some cars hit the track today already in testing. Did the SCAG Wilkerson Racing Mustang hit the track today at all?
Yes, we did. We made our we only plan on making one today, so we made the one we wanted to make.
What was the goal today, being that you only made one hit? You know, testing is different for everyone, but what was your team's goal today hitting the track?
Our goal today was kind of just to get our movements back. You know what I'm saying? This thing is kind of working on these cars is kind of a delicate dance, so we're kind of trying to remember our steps. So we did that. We accomplished that. So we got the thing together today, started it, serviced it once, and that's really all we were really looking to do today.
So when the team gets down into the nitty-gritty of testing, are we already testing the new McKinney chassis, the new one, or are we still working with one from last year? Where's the program at on that?
Listen, pal, if you think I got that new chassis wired and plumbed in 1 week, you are talking to the wrong guy. You ain't talking to Superman. You're talking to Dan. That will... the later test session, we will get that car back out. But no, this car that we ran today is exactly how we ran it at Pomona. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're trying some new stuff because it is testing. So we're trying a little bit different combination, trying to see if we can't keep up with these guys.
Now, you guys go and test like this, and you're trying different things. Is there a game plan as far as not just about, I guess, tuning? Are you guys willing to, switch or change up blowers, or is there a different combination of how you guys maybe decide to, attack the track? Is there a plethora of things, or is there one focus on a certain area when you guys go test?
We do a plethora of things. So, it's not like you can take this thing and hot lap it somewhere. Your testing time is pretty valuable. So we, like I said today, we kind of knocking the rust off, and we did have a little bit of a new combination we were working on. So tomorrow we'll continue to work with that. And like you said, we got a blower over the winter, so we're going to run that on Thursday. Just other odds and ends that you throw in testing while you're working on your new setup.
All right, it's testing, not fully into the season yet. So is Pops, dear old Dad, going to get a crack at it before or after this shootout thing at all?
That's a great question. I know he misses driving. And I tried to get him to drive a couple times last year. Last year we tested. And both times he said, it's too hot out here. I'm too fat. I'm too old. It's too hot. So why don't you just do it? And I said, oh, man, twist my arm. I guess I'll go run 300 mile an hour with all my friends and work on race cars. So we'll see. It's not like he doesn't not want to do it. He just, like I said, the mood hasn't struck him yet.
Is your team still intact? Any new people coming aboard, or are you guys pretty much keeping the continuity and continuing and picking up where you left off last year?
We're pretty close. We had one gentleman leave this winter, and so we had to pick up a new, pretty green fella. Our Jordan Taylor's our newest guy, and he's 19 years old. He worked on our car a little bit last year, but he hasn't worked on much. So we're training him up. That's another part of this exercise we're doing here.
Right. Got to train them up, got to get them ready to go, learn the ropes. With transitions in the offseason, one of them, a big announcement, is Chad Green. Shops now in Brownsburg instead of being over there near Springfield in the Wilkerson camp. Is that a complete separation of programs, and now it's more Skag Wilkerson isolated and focused, possibly closer with the Richards camp? What's happening in the team satellite program?
Yeah, that's the latter of what you said. I mean, those guys are all my friends. I mean, I basically lived with some of them guys for a couple of years there, right? We were on the road and basically my family. So all them guys, Chad included, dear friends of mine, but they've decided that they would like it to be two separate programs. So they're going to go on their own, and they're more than capable. So I wish them best of luck. But they are satellite was a good word. They're no longer a satellite car of ours. And we'll continue to work with Richard like we have. I mean, those guys are a good group of guys too. They're pretty smart fellas. So anytime they have a question, of course, we're right there to help them. But that car's going to come around pretty quick.
It seemed like things were turning around for them a little bit towards the end of last year. You know, that program part-time for so many years and would come out and they would struggle, maybe have a moment of brilliance, but with having lap after lap after lap after lap and input from yourselves and Tim and others, it helped pick that program up, and it looks like 2025 might be the best year they've ever had.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching them guys grow. They so this is a part that no one tells you about. This is that I went to this for a long time. I went to 4 or 5 races a year, and there is a couple of like what you don't know, what you don't know, you don't know. So running 20 of them, it's more than just buying more parts and getting more people. There's a lot of work that goes into getting all that stuff ready and making it so you have a consistent just to say clutch pack, consistent clutch packs for the whole year. And last year they did a really good job putting all that together and learning. And now, like you said, at the end of the year, the thing ran really good. So I'm excited to see where they pick up.
So I have to get your thoughts on the fact that now there will be a regular season champion. There's more money on the line. What do you feel that this does as far as the regular season goes and the competition during it?
It won't really change my, I guess, my drive. I mean, I go to every race. I wouldn't come if I didn't think I could win. So I go to every race trying to win. So it's not like I'm going to try harder to win the regular season. You know what I mean? But it's definitely an added incentive that will do a lot of us good. Anytime you can get more money in anybody's program, it's helpful. So for the NHRA to come up with some more funds is never a bad thing. I'll always be happy about that.
Hey, more money for the showmakers is always a good thing, and I think it's a great announcement. And I think you'll see some people really shooting it out for the funds toward that end of the regular season. Daniel, we had you on this show about this time last year before embarking on your first full-time season behind the wheel of a Nitro funny car, and you had some high expectations, but I think the highlight reels that you made in 2024 were not the highlight reels that you were hoping for. So you look at 2024, look at going into 2025, where are the changes that need to be made, and what do you expect this season?
Yeah, I told a lot of people, even like a casual fan they don't really, if they're not watching, they don't see how many little fires we had and stuff like that. So everyone that asked me how I thought our first year, I said, if we could do the same thing with a couple breaks here and there, a couple more round wins, get you a couple race wins, and be on fire 3 less times, I will be tickled. I would call that a great success. And I think if we do all those things, we're going to wind up being 4th or 5th at least this year.
Hey, Daniel, I can tell you, Colton, the body man here at McKinney, anytime you're on fire, like he's not really in the great mood the very next day.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I'm sure of that. I'm sure a lot of people go like this over there as soon as we have an incident.
So team makes changes. You got new combinations. You as a driver, is there anything that you decided that you might change and do differently here in the cockpit?
About Indy last year, Tim finally let me move some stuff around in the cockpit, and I think it worked out really good for all of us. So, excuse me. So, I'm gonna leave it alone from where I had it, but just because, back to you don't know what you don't know, right? Things were clicking a lot better for me in the countdown than they were in the regular season. So I'm gonna try to pick that up.
All right, Daniel, I want the lowdown. I want the 411. We got those great posts on your social media of you at a grocery store, checking out some Mission Foods products in full funny car attire, ready to go race. And we never got a behind the scenes video. I want to know, what were the looks like?
They weren't. I was expecting maybe someone to say, "Hey, I don't know if you can come here like that," or I had a couple looks from other customers, but honestly, it wasn't nothing too crazy. And I posted somewhere, maybe it's on Facebook, I can't remember, but the whole crew was me and my daughter. So I sent a picture out there. My daughter was pushing my helmet in a grocery cart. So she took all those pictures. I was actually kind of went in there thinking this will be cute. Like, I'll just do something real fast with her, because I had just got done reading to her class in full racer garb. So I thought, well, I have it all on. We should just go pop over here and do something fun. And she did a good job. She took some good pictures. So I was proud of her.
No, that was a great ploy, connecting missions and SCAG and at the grocery store. No, that worked out great. You might need to hire her, your next marketer.
Dude, you ain't kidding. Natalie needs, if she's on the lookout for some talent, I got some. I've been growing some up inside.
What part of the shootout you looking forward to the most?
You know, I really like winning things, so this kind of goes against that. But if we can't get in the main program and, you know, win some rounds, hurt some feelings in that, the dragster funny car thing is really cool. I really enjoyed that last year, so I'm not gonna. I don't want to say that I'm looking forward to that, because if we get into that, that means we sucked on Friday. So I hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, I'll still have a smile on my face, because I think that part's really cool.
Overall, the next couple of days going into this shootout, how do things look? I haven't dove in, looked at weather, and I'm sure other fans haven't. You know, what's on the radar quite literally for you all as teams, and is it optimal to really shake down a combination?
Yeah, today we ran probably about the hottest point of the day, and it was only like 117 degrees or something on the racetrack, which at, you know, the hottest point of the day, that's actually pretty good. So, and Kurt Johnson does an amazing job tuning the track up, and he's here tuning this thing up. So, the racetrack will not be a problem. And from my understanding, it's supposed to be a little warm, but you know, we get some good night runs in here, so that sun won't be a factor at 7:30 at night. It'll be Candyland, like Timmy likes to say. So we'll be able to do some serious throwdown stuff, and hopefully our new combination makes it. You know, we were 88, 89 cars at the end of the year. Hope we're making moves to try to be 84, 85 cars.
Well, with that said, it is the SCAG title sponsor, and you're like the funny car.
We're scagged up.
Right. I mean, you know, is there a little bit more prodding, you know, from the lawnmower folks? Hey, we need you to get this one.
You know, honestly, no. Part of the beauty of this program is that Randy Glady, Maria from SCAG, they are really, I mean, they have a massive business up there in Mayville, right? They're really good at running metalcraft in Mayville. They're awesome at it. So part of what they know is they don't run a race car. But, so they don't necessarily get on us. I mean, maybe every once in a while it's like, hey, were you trying to do that? Were you really going for it? Is that why I smoked tires? And if we go, no, I don't know why I did that. They usually just give us a pat on the back, or like, oh, hell yeah, man, we were going for it. And he's pumped for us. But they do an awesome job of not getting on our backs if things aren't going just like we want to. You know, because I mean, obviously, I want to win every race. So the way this program is working out now, we get our dealers, we get some distributors out here. We show some folks the experience of getting to stand right behind that starting line. And if we keep hitting smiles on people's faces, they're happy. So far, they're happy. We're killing it.
Well, good deal. I'm glad they're happy. I know you're the right guy, definitely, to interact and connect with those people and show them the experience beyond the line, back in the pits, and everything with that, and that involves the great access that drag racing avails. So keep up the good work. Keep being a good ambassador of the sport, Daniel. And thank you for being a good ambassador and coming on the show and filling in and pinch hitting. We greatly appreciate it here on the Power Hour. And look, I need you to go win. I can make more posts from McKinney too. So help me out, okay?
All right, I'll try my best, my friend. Yeah, I'm sorry to all your fans out there. It was hoping for Tony Stewart and got this. So
hey, I don't
think
think
pull that bait and switch on purpose. I promise.
Right. I'm sure of this fan base, there's nobody disappointed. I don't think there's anybody out there that is negative on Daniel Wilkerson. You keep up the good work, my friend.
I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you guys very much. It's good talking to you.
Adios.
Take it easy.
Well, he's in a warmer part of the world than where he was in Illinois and up here in like Lafayette, Indiana, where I am. They got a lot better weather. It got cool again up here.
I would love for it to get cool again. It's too early to be dealing with 70-degree weather right now. I want it to be cool. We deal with heat way too much down here. I don't want to see heat until mid-March. It's a little warm right now.
Well, speaking of heat, let's take a break. And right after the break, Dugenais, let's come back along with those in the comment section. Take some comments. Let's talk about the shootout. Let's talk about the regular season. Let's talk about the things beyond what is happening this weekend at Bradenton Motorsports Park in the world of drag racing. Something that can certainly beat the heat. Well, that is Redline oil products. Redline synthetic oil. When you're in the red line, you want the confidence of Redline to keep your things well lubricated. So many Dugenais that I have talked to out there in the Nitro ranks, they live by Redline synthetic oil. From the gears to that engine, Redline.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition and a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
So Dugenais, in the comment section, Blake did want to ask Daniel Wilkerson what he was looking forward to the most in 2025. Blake, sorry we didn't get to that directly, but I think when you look at 2024 and them going into 2025, I feel that that answer is easy. Just about anybody can answer that. Less fires and more wind lights.
Yeah, definitely. Fires are hard on the pocket, well, for sure, and not fun to go through. So definitely less fires, and they definitely want to get more wins under their belt and be in contention at the end.
Absolutely. Well, folks, hit the like button, hit the share button on whatever platform you're watching. I think I shared earlier on Facebook, and now I need to go to X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and also Re-X now? I don't know. I've already done it. I've re-X'd, if that's how you say it now. I don't know. But continuing into the comment section, we've had some questions concerning the shootout, Dugenais, and Mike asked, so how are they going to do the Top Fuel versus Funny Car for the Pro Superstar shootout down to 9 Top Fuel, 9 Funny Cars? That would make one of each in Top Fuel versus Funny Car. Mike, my answer to you, I don't know.
I know. I think last year they staggered. It was a slightly staggered tree. It wasn't like perfect.
Well, what he's getting at is just car count, period.
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
8-car field, and who else is going to show up? Have we seen everybody? And we already see some people that are on the list, but apparently they're not there. I know in the comment section someone has mentioned about the Capco boys. I do know this: they are buying parts, so they intend to do something this year. But what that something is, we don't know yet.
Who knows? Yeah. Still up in the air. I thought that would be decided by now. We're getting close to Gainesville time, and I thought that would be decided.
I'll say this, Dugenais. As much as I like this event and I like preseason testing, I have enjoyed preseason testing all the way back when the only one that seemed to have cared about it was Bobby Bennett on CompetitionPlus.com, and he would stream it live for all the drag racing fans on CompetitionPlus.com before Flow drag racing was everything, before Flow Racing ever cared about drag racing. It was CompetitionPlus.com streaming the testing days live, whether that was Las Vegas or it was Phoenix. Yeah. But this event this year, if I may put it this way, and I want to be careful, but I just want to be honest, I feel like some of the wind is out of the sails concerning the SCAG Pro Superstar shootout compared to last year. I really feel that the lack of a drag illustrated presence is, well, not being heard, if you will.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit on the lesser side. It has a little bit less punch, so to speak, than it did last year. And I think you are noticing that with Drag Illustrated not being a part of that deal. And, you do what you can, I guess. And first time that they're doing it on their own. So it should be a lot of trial and error, and they're going to learn some things as well. And I tell you what, though, I do like the fact that Mike is in the booth. You got Jamie Howell in there as well. I think that's a great combination. And having TJ also be out there, he's done that he's played that role before. So I think that's going to help out a lot in that regard. But yeah, as far as the extra promotion and a little bit more pop, yeah, that is a little missing.
I agree. Now, I think Flo overall with the panel, for the most part, has picked a great lineup of people. It's certainly going to be interesting to see Mike Dunn back in that role. I mean, he even admitted last week with yourself and Darren Williams Jr. that he really hadn't kept up on things, that he is looking forward to getting back to the track and getting up to speed and putting himself back out there in that role that he had for so many years on ESPN's coverage. And I'm looking forward to hearing clips with him on that role. Certainly Jamie Howe will do a fine job. Interesting, Tommy Johnson, he is not out of a driver's seat completely. He's been back to Australia and driving, and he's maintained, holding a steering wheel in a funny car, even back last year in the Nitro Injected platform. We know that he filled in a couple of years ago as well. So he has certainly held on to the ropes, and now holding the mic, he's going to be able to give great perspective. But Flo, I think, will handle themselves well. I'm just very surprised at Pro Promotions itself. Do some research. Take a look, Dujanay. Pro Promotions, LLC, their Facebook page. In March, it will be 1 year that page has been in existence. And the last time that I looked, which I believe was earlier today, they had not crossed over 1,000 followers. If you're going to be about promoting, I think for the sport and for these professionals, even a simple Facebook page has got to be upped in those numbers. I mean, you got to pump those numbers up. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, you do. And that doesn't help your brand reach very far. And that's a testament to that they're lacking a little bit in that department. I think that would have helped a lot too if people knew where to go and they were kind of promoting that Facebook page. If they have a YouTube page, promoting that as well. Those numbers matter. And yes, if you've been around that long, should be pretty stout by now. And the lack of that is probably also, hurting that big pop that we're looking for.
Right. Mystic, to your point, if I remember correctly, it was Super Bowl weekend last year as well, but it fit in under the radar, if you will, one, because it's drag racing, but it also wraps up on Saturday. It's not a Sunday event. And Sick Week did wrap up, and I don't think Sick Week is pulling anything away from the Skag Pro Superstar Shootout.
No.
I think somewhat there's a bit of a different crowd following those two. I wish more people would follow Drag and Drive, such a fascinating and great segment of the world of drag racing and hot rodding. But I think in some regard, you've got two separate camps there. I see what's happening this year as just a missing of the step of the promotional prowess that is with oftentimes Drag Illustrated.
Yeah. I think sometimes if you saw this coming, I think that would have been and this was something that was going to be a separation. I think there should have been more of a campaign, so to speak, to kind of push them as their own promotion a little bit harder. The more you can plaster yourself everywhere, whether it's social media or, maybe you have commercials. I don't know. There's ways of getting out there, and maybe they should have been more of a campaign from the beginning, knowing that this was going to happen. And leading up to this, you would already have some pretty tremendous momentum, and it would have carried over right into this, especially if it was done especially when you ramped up right after the NHRA season ended. I think that would have helped as well.
Right. I feel that this one just does not quite have the energy as last year did. Now, it is hard to maintain the energy of a first. That is tough.
It is.
For any group to do and accomplish. But I just feel that this year has lost the luster just a bit. Now, they might be able to regain it with the on-track action. They might be able to regain it through the production. But this year, if we get that bang, it is definitely heavily, it seems like, on flow drag racing, flow racing, and the teams themselves. That's where it's going to come from, I think, overall.
Yeah. They got great characters. If they can display those well, and Flo can capture those, the moment, these drivers' personalities, capture those well, then it'll definitely make up for it, because they definitely have the personalities, they have the performance out there. So the on track should be exceptional. And like I said, in the booth, I think they really got a good combination there. It'll be very nice to see and hear both Jamie and Mike Dunn call this thing. I think they hit that one. I think that's a home run hit right there.
I completely agree. I think it is a home run hit. And remember, folks, you can catch it all on flowracing.com. I do expect that, as last year, we will see free access for a while, like during qualifying, things of that nature. But I'm sure eliminations, you're going to have to pay for that subscription.
$39.99 for it is not even, you can't even pay for the race. You have to pay for a month subscription. I believe it's up. I think it's up $10 if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was cheaper than that last year.
$39.99 for a month, and especially when you do purchase flow racing, because it's not just flow drag racing, it is a great value. You got a lot of dirt track racing that's also going to be taking place during this time period in Florida, like Volusia and those type of places. So, I imagine some of those events will be on flow racing, and you also have the World Series of Pro Mod event coming up. So that $40, that $42 probably after taxes, maybe a bit more. I think that's a good value if you want to get this race. And if you're a motorsports fan, you're able to see more. Now, if you're just a Nitro fan, it might be a hard pill to swallow, but it is early Nitro. And then, by the way, don't forget, we'll probably see afterwards from the such as Straight Line Media, Kyle Christ, and Redline Motorsports, and NC Pro Modder, if he's down there, some other folks as well, tape delayed versions of this race for sure.
Yeah. Some great people out there, doing great work as far as bringing you guys coverage. It should be several different angles, several different ways to be able to look at it. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. And it'll be really cool to see those guys kind of produce their own tape delay version of that as well.
Absolutely. Well, Dujanay, I think we have said enough about the Skag Pro Superstar Shootout, folks. Go get your subscription. We all look forward to Nitro being spent. Already was today, and will continue to the weekend, to crowning champions of this event, the second time in which it is held. There's still more to talk about, in particular with the NHRA and a regular season, and it being defined as something worthy to be rewarded. In that competition, you just might need competition products to become the regular season champion. And we're glad that Competition Products has partnered with us here at competitionplus.com, by the way, where you can also get results from testing and the race of the Skag Pro Superstar Shootout. So if you need to compete, you need Competition Products.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
And back here on the Power Hour. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Thank you for diving into the comment section. Andrew, I see your question there concerning Sean Bellemare and Injected Nitro. We'll take that towards the end of the show. Dugenais, your take on this regular season big bucks rewarded for the winner action in the NHRA?
So I'm going to admit, when I first heard it, I was like, nah, I'm not buying this. This is kind of, not a cool thing. But after I had some, and I'm glad we had this show later, I had some time to sit on this and think about it. And if you're a stick and ball sports kind of person, especially me covering the NFL, it reminds me of what the NFL has in conference or division champions. You got 4 categories, and you'll have a champion for each division of those categories. And it really now stops you from what we've had here, an NBA version of the regular season. And of course, people aren't like taking off and sitting guys out, but you do get the feeling that if a team feels like, well, maybe we're a little far away from being able to get the number 1 spot or maybe getting number 2, we're in a good spot right now. Let us try some things in the middle of the season. We're trying to stay within the top 5. And if we can just get into the playoffs and be somewhere in the top, we're good. Doesn't really bode well sometimes for really good drag racing, right? Because sometimes guys are going to miss because they have changed up the whole entire combination. They're looking at different things, and they're already looking ahead to playoff time. Now you have virtually set up the ability to have straight up competition and intense competition day one at the Gator Nationals. There's no more, well, if we are here, everybody's gunning to try to be the conference champion or the division champion. Everybody's trying to do that. And with that type of money on the line, of course, my initial thought was like, why don't we just put it into the, just up the purses for every race. Just do that. But I think this is a lot better because now you've got the competition all the way to Indy. And now you've just made Indy even more important. Points and a half. There's regular season champion on the line. With that money, some folks are just going to be trying to get in to the countdown. If you have that drama, that's there. So the intensity level just continues to grow as we get through the season. I tell you what, though, this is one of these things where managing emotions, managing and being able to handle your intensity level, being in physical and mental shape is going to really be imperative because the regular season is going to be taxing in the sense that everybody's gunning for that number 1 spot, right? So when you get done with that, it's another reset. Now I have to set up and I have to have that same intensity and level of mental focus for the championship. So it's really going to truly be the tale of two seasons. We see it in football all the time. Guys and teams go 14 and whatever, and they win 14 games. They get to the playoffs. Sometimes they get that first round bye and come out in their first game in the conference championship and poop their pants. We might actually see that. We might see some teams just mentally not be able to have the intestinal fortitude to carry it through from the regular season through to the championship. And if you've been paying attention, people who usually finish at the top in the regular season don't win the championship.
I like this move. I think it needed to be rewarded and it needed to be recognized just beyond any trophy. It needed higher stakes. I still would like to see points for the regular season champion to the point that they were a bit safer, if you will, that winning the regular season championship in a motorsport setting that we're in, and it's not just win and you're out because we still have races left towards the championship, that they would be put out there a bit further over the competition, not unreachable, but a bit safer. Maybe with that one mulligan, they aren't as hurt as bad losing round one in the next race, for example, and they don't have to absorb it, or they do have room to absorb it, rather. I also think, as much as this is a good move, we still have the worst move made out there, and that is this participation award for qualifying. And until that is eliminated, I think that overall the playoff system in the NHRA is weakened. Remove it, and then it makes sense. It is strong. It gives you the competition that is advertised to be delivered, because you truly do have the best 10 or the best 8 over a season rolling into championship contention.
Yeah. I don't know how many times we got to talk about this, and the powers that be, I'm sure they watch this show. It's just a watered down version of playoff system. And name me one sport that rewards, I can't even call it mediocrity, your loser. Most of these teams don't even have a winning record and can't even manage to have a winning record if you combined all of their wins and losses together. Right. Why are we rewarding people who lose?
I mean, at this point, college football is doing a better job.
Yeah. And that's not,
and that's saying something.
Exactly. And if you want to do something, I think Dave W has kind of had that idea as well. Make the number 10 spot an at-large spot, and
it's a good idea.
Some type of race that those cars that are within that in that zone to get to the top 10, they race each other, and right till the end to whoever wins that, and that's the person that gets in the 10 spot. Make it interesting. Other than that, this awarding, and say you got a top 13, or if everybody makes it and makes every race, then it's 14 or 15 cars. It's just, we already know that from 9 times out of 10, there's rarely number 11 and number 12 that are just on the heels of 10. Rarely. Maybe one of them.
Right.
13, 14, 15, 16, if that ends up being the amount that is in there, that's not even worth talking about.
Right. And Dave W mentions you could have a 18 pro stock countdown, and we were close to that this previous year.
Yeah.
Where you had enough showing up and participating that they were just in the championship contention. I feel that we have had enough competitors. Look, we're talking heads, we're media, but we've had enough competitors from Ron Capps to Matt Hartford to many others say that they don't want this as a part of the scheme, that it just cheapens the whole gamut.
Yeah. And do you think a sponsor is excited about that? If a sponsor's excited about that participation trophy, I think you need to reevaluate your whole marketing deal. There's
Sure.
no way you're excited about that.
Sure.
Not even a little bit.
Sure. And now, look, I get it. From a PR perspective, you need to stretch, and you need to heighten, and you need to brighten everything possible and use every angle. I get that. Do your job. But the NHRA, I really think they need to really reevaluate that rule. And with what they've done, and take away that rule, and then we're close to a really strong, true playoff type of situation in the sport of drag racing.
And Andrew, that is a NHRA thing. That is not a pro is not behind that. That is a NHRA rule. So yeah, we've been, this horse is like mush now with the way we've been talking about this, and others have been talking about this. And I'm just coming into this season, you do this. I don't know how you missed that though.
It should have been the same package.
Yes. All package
with this, we're also doing this. We give you this and we take away that.
Yeah.
And it would have been a stellar move. Stellar move.
Yeah. It would have been great. But here we are again with that to water down the playoff system. Even NASCAR isn't doing that. And NASCAR makes a lot of mistakes.
Right.
And they're not even doing
that. Right. You got to applaud NASCAR for attempting and trying things. For example, I think overall, you look this past weekend, the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium, it was a tremendous success. The LA Coliseum after year one lost its luster, but you take that program, and though it's a very similar track, you take it to a track that was built to be a track, and you take it to a track with all that history, and you take it to a track with an rabid fan base. It's not uncommon on a Saturday night to have 15,000 fans there on a regular Saturday night. And then you throw in the action of the local guys doing their similar to weekly thing, but then cup as well. And it was a success. It was a great atmosphere. So you got to applaud them for that. But certainly they have messed up in other areas. And you roll that into the NHRA, many would argue that we don't need the playoff system. And I think that you're right. We don't need it, but we do have it. Now just strengthen it. Make it a true playoff system. There's a cutoff line. There's a cutoff line into college football and its playoffs. There is a cutoff into that tournament for the baseball or basketball in college football. There's a cutoff in professional sports that you did not reach this level, therefore you're not getting in.
Yeah. You can't go 2 and 14, 2 and 15 and expect to be rewarded for that. Like, you can't have a losing round win-loss record and expect to be rewarded for that. It's just, it speaks to what's the problem with the society in the first place, is that we reward people because they participated in something, and people are not bold enough to say, hey, your kid just isn't good at it. Maybe he's good at something else, but it's not this.
Right. What about just, we stunk this year, let's make sure we smell better next year.
Right.
And get it right. And look, the competition's tough. there were some individuals out there toward the end of the year, their programs were turning around, and maybe if they had that turnaround earlier, maybe they had a couple other win lights and they lost some close races. It's tough out there. I get it, but we should still be cutting it off at the top 10. I frankly want it to be cut off at the top 8 and then cut it off again before going to the last 3 races of the year. Continue the elimination, because we are elimination style sport. We start from a 16-car field for the professional classes, and you keep eliminating down to 1, and they're the top eliminator, if you will, of that class, because these classes are called they're eliminators. I mean, it's called the Top Eliminator Club for a reason. Top Fuel Eliminator, Funny Car Eliminator. It's not Top Fuel Average.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I mean, we had a rarity this year with having 8 going into the final, but yeah, I agree with that. And Josh, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope you like what you're hearing over here, talking drag.
Don't look Dugenay. He's got a Chiefs icon.
Hey, 3-peat, baby. 3-peat. I'm going for it. That's what I want to see. I want to see history.
I hear that. I'd like to see history too. And, I'm going to say it honestly, Andy Reid. I like Andy Reid. He's a cool coach, and how sweet it would be history made over the former team.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be really nice. I think I dislike the Eagles about as much as, or more than I dislike the Cowboys.
Wow.
I don't like Sirianni. I'm not a Sirianni guy. I'm not a Kellen Moore guy. It's just, I don't know. And then AJ Brown with that smug look on his face all the time, it just irritates me. I don't know why. And then Jalen Hurts, he irritates me too. I don't know why, but he just does.
Well,
I keep it fair.
Here we are. We're talking about football. We've already laid out the Super Bowl picks, and yes, go Chiefs. Drag Racing Mayhem, you can leave the chat anytime. No, thank you for being here, man. But let's continue on the drag racing chat. I think we have wrapped it up on the major topics going into this weekend, and also with the NHRA making its announcement. I do want to go back to what Andrew asked concerning Sean Bellemere mentioning the injected nitro car. That's something that the Bartone Brothers Racing operation, they've been trying to get up to speed for about 2 years now. McKinney Court built their chassis here with some specific designs in mind with nitro injected funny car racing. And they had some parts issues of just, we're on a waiting list. They finally have got the parts together. They're taking it out there. I'm going to say this, with Steve Boggs behind the tuning curbs and turning those knobs, they're going to get the program figured out. And it very quickly, I think, will be a situation with injected nitro that is outperforming the blown methanol combination. You can already see that to some extent with Mick Steele and his program. That car qualified at times exceptionally well, and they were figuring that program out. They had a mishap with the wall for sure, but they're going to be continuing to go out there and attempt to fire quite literally on all 8 cylinders, and they were figuring that out. So I think very soon the injected nitro combination in funny car and top alcohol funny car in the NHRA, you might see it be very similar to what you have in top alcohol dragster, where slowly but surely the blown methanol combination will go by the wayside.
That's what I was going to ask you. You think this is a class that will just soon be called the injected nitro class?
I think in time it will become that. And because you already have those in top alcohol funny car, they did not like this move. And you have those that already feel that they're not welcome, they're not appreciated. So many people are selling parts and pieces and whole programs after this season. And honestly, I can't help but think, I know that Mike mentions the IHRA. I think about the IHRA. I think one way in which they can be different and one way in which they can be successful is don't do it like the NHRA and treat the alcohol classes better. And I think you can be successful. If you gave the alcohol racers, top alcohol dragster and top alcohol funny car, and I mean even the injected variety, but you gave them better treatment, I think you would have an exodus.
Yeah.
And you would have a portion of your show figured out if you could figure out how to treat those racers and teams right.
I think that would probably be the thing that they should make their primary. And then you make the Nitro Jam stuff a secondary, kind of like a Chaos. It's a specialty thing. Maybe you just have a handful of races for that. But your majority of your package should be involved with the alcohol class or with the injected nitro, whatever you want to do. But that should be your baseline.
Right.
And I think if that's your baseline, people are going to turn out for it, and you're going to have plenty of cars to be able to support that. And to me, that's sustainable, because really the nitro stuff the nitro sounds great, but it is questionable, because how many cars are you going to get out of there? Personally, if I'm the IHRA, I don't do 16. I probably do an 8-car field. To make it tighter. And that way you don't have to worry about whether I have that I don't have. I have 14 cars show up in 16 spots. You don't have to worry about that. But I do think if you're going to do something in that regard, I think nitro should be the secondary, at least for the start. And then you see how it all plays out. Because how many people that are running an NHRA are going to come over there, and how many other cars that are sitting out there right now that are part-timers, do you have enough to field a nice solid field on both sides for nitro? That's questionable.
So Lonnie in the comment section, you're absolutely right. Certainly don't want to sound like I'm dismissing the blown methanol combination. In top alcohol funny car, your champion was a blown methanol combination in Sean Cowie, but the field overall is dominated. Maybe not dominating wins, but granted, you could argue that majority of the wins is with the injected nitro combination, and it is a combination that has just took over that class. And I think eventually you're going to find that happen with also the funny cars as well. And I think it's natural, because the natural progression makes more sense from injected nitro to top fuel to nitro funny car.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is one reason that you're going to see it grow. But it's going to be a combination that will be a force to reckon with. And I definitely think with Steve Boggs putting his experience and his mad scientist touch, if you will, on it, they're going to figure it out. And it's been figured out before. Remember, folks, injected nitro is nothing new. Injected nitro, I mean, it dates all the way back to the early mid-'60s, even probably even before that. But nonetheless, figuring out in this modern day and it being allowed and accepted, someone's got to figure it out in the modern day. But someone will, and it will certainly be a potent combination. You can see in the chat, you also have the results from Bradenton today and the testing, and you can find that on competitionplus.com. The testing action, the results from it, and it's live. It's up.
Looking at it right now.
Well, Dujne, give us the rundown.
Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Well, Tuesday's best in number one was Brittany Force, 368.9 at 330.23 miles per hour.
Off the trailer hit, from what I understood.
Yeah, from what I understood, that was right off the old trailer. Antron Brown with a 370 with a 1 at 332.151 miles per hour for the second. Third was Josh Hart. He had a 375.2 at 329.12 miles per hour. And then it was Sean Langdon with the fourth best at 375.8, 331.12 miles per hour. Fifth, Justin Ashley, 378.7, 282.24. Sixth was Doug Coletta, 378.9, 325.85 miles per hour. And Tony, Doug, and Sean, I would presume the NA means they did not run, or it says they did not make a full pass during the session. That's why you have an NA for those. Funny car, Austin Prock, 385.1, 333.82 miles per hour.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Ron Capps, 389. Did I say 389 for Austin or 385?
385.
Okay. 389.4 for Ron Capps, 329.58 miles per hour. Second, the third was Chad Green, 394 with 315.27 miles per hour. Fourth, Jack Beckman, 396.9, 321.42 miles per hour. And Daniel, JR, Bob Tasca did not make a full pass during the session. There is, the results are there. Nice little write-up from Bobby Bennett there for you guys. So go ahead, check that out, read it, share it, tell a friend to tell a friend. And yeah, man, sounds like some cool stuff. And that's a heck of a run by Brittany and Austin. The Force cars are kind of picking up right where they left off, especially Brittany finished the season strong and is picking up right where she left off.
Looking good day one already in testing for sure, but it's going to be a long season in 2025. Testing tomorrow. Remember, folks, competitionplus.com is a place where you can get the results just like you can right now on competitionplus.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Competition Plus Power Hour. You can watch it live on Facebook, X, and YouTube for competitionplus.com. We're going to end the show here momentarily, and when we do, well, hit the like button, hit the share button, but then go over to competitionplus.com and read up on the action from today. Dujane, as always, good to be live with you on Tuesday night, and it was good to have Daniel Wilkerson on, filling in for Tony Stewart. We weren't able to get him. Sorry, folks.
It happens.
It happens. Rescheduled. We'll get Tony another time. I certainly do want to have a conversation with him on his maturation and get it from him and what it has been like and the challenges of that program. They're still trying to figure things out. I had Leah walk up to me one time at a test. I was filming a test at Indy, and she walks up and she's like, hey, would you mind not posting what we've been working on? We're trying to figure out some vehicle dynamic issues with the car. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I just document, the testing itself, and I don't have to post. It's not no big deal. I won't post. But yeah, they're still trying to figure out some vehicle dynamic issues with that ride because, well, Leah to Tony, that's different.
Yeah. And I'll give Tony some credit. Sports, especially in stick and ball sports, is a results business. And people aren't necessarily patient, whether it's general managers, owners. They're not patient with coaches. They're not patient with offensive coordinators or any coordinator. For Tony and the crew to be patient with Neil Strasbaugh, very easily would have had more than enough right to send him packing at the end of last year. Results-based business. But I applaud them for showing patience and giving him an opportunity to get this thing right and working with him on that. I think there's not enough of that in this league. I kind of liken it to kickers. People are really quick to move off of a kicker when he has a couple bad games. Maybe he's had a string of bad games, but he's been good and solid up to this point. Sometimes, just like kickers, crew chiefs goes through that. They go through slumps, and then like you add the dynamic of Leah to Tony, all that weight distribution and understanding and trying to get things moving a little bit faster than normal when you had a lighter person in the car. Them allowing him to just work through these kinks and working with him on that, I think is admirable and should be applauded because, in today's business, people are really quick to pull the trigger and send folks packing when the results are not there.
You definitely have to have time to develop and maturation time, and certainly not taking anything away of capability, but you changed the program in a significant way. I know people will go like, oh, it's just a change of driver. But when you change drivers, things can be changed drastically and tuning can be affected. You don't tune that car, for example, with Matt Hagan, like you do Ron Capps. They're two different sized individuals. There's a different center of gravity. There's a different where I can put weight and things of that nature. And I got some research myself to do that I was, tipped off on that. Look at Matt's numbers and then look at other people's numbers, and you can probably tell some difference just because of his build compared to other drivers. It's all real. Murph, I love what Murph says here. We look at race cars and we see race car, but a race car doesn't know it's a race car. It's just a hunk of metal.
Right.
And it operates under the law of physics. So you've got to work within that.
Yeah.
You're not going to accomplish the impossible without knowing how to work within that. And these are smart people out there, and they got to figure it out and things of that nature, but it's real. You can't just plug someone in and expect it to turn around overnight. I
agree. Yeah. It's nice to see people understand that because I see it so many times within the NFL where they just don't give individuals enough time to figure things out. It's as if ownership is in la la land and thinks they're further than they actually are, and end up sending individuals packing too early. And it's nice to see a group of people, and as we know, Tony is high profile, and so with that comes a lot of expectations, especially from the outside, and for them to understand that and to not be reactionary because of what some of us may be chirping about. It speaks volumes, and right. Like I said, they should be really patted on the back for that, because it's not enough of that going on within any form of sport.
Right. I said last year going into it, people would ask, what do you think Tony is going to be able to accomplish? I really was expecting at least one national event win in a top field dragster because of the performance of that car that they had with Leah before she got out of it. It was performing fairly well from time to time. And again, it just goes to show you put a driver in and things change. That notebook has got some asterisks in it after such of a change. But overall, a successful year. Tony actually went on to perform and win some regional races in top alcohol dragster. He still did that with the McPhillips camp in that rank. But think of it this way too, Dugenais. That year was certainly a success for Tony because we never had an issue, as far as I can recall, with Tony Stewart of the car can't get into reverse or a muffed burnout or some terrible light in competition, things of that nature. He certainly showed himself the motorsportist professional that he is.
Yeah. Didn't find himself in somebody else's lane. Didn't have the thing up next to the wall on 2 wheels, because, the car got away from him. You never saw any of that. So yeah, absolutely. All those things are a huge success for a guy in his first time being in that type of a vehicle. So it just speaks to how awesome he is as a driver. I mean, it's insane to see that all the things that he's been in, and he steps into something that's completely foreign and way outside of the box, and just like he's a natural. It's something to watch, man.
I think something that testifies to that is the stat that he is the only individual to win at every racetrack on the facilities of Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
Bull ring, dirt track, drag strip, and the big oval.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Sassy Tony though.
Right. Yes, it's got to come out eventually.
Yeah,
it has got to come out eventually.
We know it's
come out eventually. What does he throw? Glove, helmet, neck? So,
right.
Yeah, it's got to come out.
I don't think he'll throw his helmet. He knows better than that. He's like, I'm not doing that. I mean, he helped the kid get a new one. So yeah, he's not throwing his helmet.
Right. Well, folks, thank you for tuning in. This has been the Competition Plus Power Hour. I'm Lee Kraft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer. And over there is Mr. Dujanay Bland, host of the Not Bland Show. And it certainly is not that. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. We'll get Tony Stewart at some point. Thank you, Daniel Wilkerson, for your time. Everybody, enjoy Nitro testing, the SCAG Pro Superstar Shootout, and everything else we've got in 2025.
We're getting close to the peak of the drag racing season.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it P. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant, our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.